Welcome to the Business Made Me Do It podcast, episode number 6. If you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to the podcast on, thank you so much. YouTube, I see you right there. Thanks for joining in. You're going to get a little visual treat as well. Everybody on the podcast, no worries. We're going to go through everything for the audio ear nuggets as well. So today, what we have in store is I get asked a lot with how am I productive? Like, what does my day look like? What tools do I use to be the most productive person? So I am going to go over 5 of the slam dunk ones that you absolutely need if you do anything online. A couple of these are a little tailored to what I do, but for the most part, every single one of these, I really think you should have either the ones that I mentioned or a structure that I specifically use. So let's just jump right in. Before we dive right in, please subscribe, leave a review rating. It helps the podcast get found. And yeah, thank you for joining in. So number 1, without further ado, it is called Strides. If you follow me on social media, you know I love my Strides app. It is stridesapp.com. It is strictly built for habit tracking. To be successful in anything, you need to create habits. And habits are very hard to do. Brushing your teeth in the morning is not very hard. But, doing 100 push-ups a day or reading 10 pages a day is going to be hard. You might be able to do it a couple days, but tracking that and getting consistently better at that is hard to do. I use Strides for literally I probably have about 10 things that I try to do every day. I'm not perfect. No one is. Working out, drinking a gallon of water, reading 10 pages. Currently, I'm trying to do 50 sit-ups a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but my core is super weak, so I'm just trying to get abs for summer, to be honest with you. But it is super helpful. I've reached out to the owner. I actually got a free lifetime membership just by literally asking. I told him I love the app, so hopefully if you reach out to the owner as well, CEO, I can't remember his name, but if you need it, just let me know. I have his direct email. So number 1, Strides. Definitely go and download that one. That one is an absolute no-brainer. Number 2, so the way I kind of think about my day is, what do I need to get done? As an entrepreneur, business owner, things need to get done. The ball continues to need to get moved down the field. To-do lists are preached on pretty heavily, but I use Asana. Same thing if you follow my Instagram or social media, Asana is my go-to app, asana.com. They have an app. It is amazing, super intuitive, probably one of the better apps in these 5 that I'm going to go over. But the way I use to-do list is if it's actionable, it lives in Asana for me. So, follow up with this, do this, take the trash out, whatever it may be. If it's actionable items, it gets put in the to-do list. Now, if it's not actionable, if it's something that I want to reference later, like an article or a podcast, or if I'm just taking notes, that lives in my Apple Notes section, my Apple Notes app. It doesn't, I used to kind of commingle these and kind of bleed the line with, is it actionable or is it not? So that is my number 1 question. If it's actionable, it is going into my to-do list, aka Asana. If it is not actionable, if it's something that I just need to kind of keep tabs on, maybe it's an article or maybe it's an email that I want to reference later, then that goes into my notes. Notes is actually number 4 on the list. I got a little ahead of myself, but number 3 of my most productive apps. Very self-explanatory. I do a lot of online bookings and meetings and scheduling things. Google Calendar. Yes, Google Calendar is absolutely amazing. You can link up multiple calendars. So I have, I believe, 2 or 3 calendars linked up to my Google app. And that gives me literally a full snapshot of everything I need to do. So if it's personal, I have a personal life calendar with my girlfriend and then a business calendar as well. So I guess there's 2 main ones. But long story short, if it needs to get done in my personal life, it lives on the personal calendar. But if it's in my business, that needs to get done. It's all filtered into the same list. So it doesn't really matter where it comes from, just as long as it gets done. I will, just kind of a tip, I will try to schedule out time blocking. There's a lot of studies and whatnot that goes into time. It's called time blocking, but blocking out, like, say you need to do like this podcast. I usually record on Tuesday or Wednesday morning. It's kind of my creative time, I call, but I'm actually doing it Thursday night. It's launching tomorrow, so I've not time blocked this week because I had family in town. But long story short, I will put about a 2-hour time block of creative work Tuesday or Wednesday morning. That way, I turn off all my notifications, snooze email for that time block, just so I can get that creative time in. And then Google Calendar is obviously the tool that I use to stay diligent within those. Number 4, Notes app, very self-explanatory. It's just the basic Notes app on an iPhone. They've overhauled it within the past, probably the last update, so the past probably year. It's super intuitive, pretty basic, but it gets the job done, and that's really all you need with a Notes app. Number 5, and rounding up the productivity list, Calendly, Calendly.com. It lets you schedule meetings without the back and forth emails. I literally just read that on their website, so thank you, Calendly, for giving me that little snippet, because everybody's been there where it's, hey, Tuesday, Wednesday morning work for me from 9 to 12, and then somebody responds back and says, oh, I actually have a prior meeting, like, what else do you have later in the week? Yeah. It just goes back and forth, which is absolutely worthless time. So this gives you a live link. You link it up to your Google Calendar, whatever calendar you use. You send them the link, they click on the link, it goes to a website, has your live calendar, they can book a time directly without talking to you whatsoever. You can integrate Zoom, which is the video conferencing app that I use. You can integrate Zoom in Calendly, and that literally, whatever time they pick, a Zoom meeting gets created automatically, booked into your calendar and their calendar. So there's no follow-up, making sure you have the right phone number, so on and so forth. So it's all streamlined. That is one thing that I preach, is efficiency. So this has been an absolute game changer. They have a free option, but I actually pay $10 a month, I believe, for more than one booking event type. So that is 5. I actually have a bonus for you guys, for everyone that is listening to the end. Thank you very much. Very straightforward. I am big on the Google train. Google Drive, Google Docs, and Google Sheets. You need to have those apps on your phone. It has saved me so much time. I know it will save you so much time. So I do everything in the cloud. So if there's a document that I need, an Excel sheet that I need to update, I can literally do everything from my phone versus having to be on my computer. It took me a while to really think that I needed it on my phone, but ever since I downloaded it and used it on my phone, I've used Google Drive and Google Sheets so much less on my computer, just because it's a great app. It works. It shrinks down. You can zoom in if you need to on the spreadsheet or the Google Doc. Just super intuitive. So that is your little bonus for listening all the way to the end. Once again, this is the Business Made Me Do It podcast, episode number 6. Yeah, that is it. Thank you, guys. Instagram, Caleb W. Shore. And yeah, that is it. Cue the outro.